Seasons come and seasons go. Times change, but one thing we could always count on is that bicycle handlebars were round. Oops. Hey, good morning. Granny Gear here for Old Guy on a Bike. Yet another series of Tech Tuesday videos. 3 of them, starting with this one where I set the stage on trying to overcome, well, a complication that was introduced by buying a very fancy bicycle. Because handlebars used to be round and now, maybe not. So what's so magical about a round handlebar, you say, Granny Gear? Well, because they're simple, aren't they? They're simple in lots of ways, but one of them is you can attach things to them. And an entire industry is developed regarding things that you can attach to your handlebars, because you just clamp it, wrap it, strap it right around that round part there. Everybody knows how that works. For instance, your computer mount, nice round clamp part. Or maybe you want to put a light on the front of your bike to be seen by or to see with. No problem. Little clampy, little strappy, Bob's your uncle. Round bars were easy to deal with. And then we went and did this. See the bike behind me? That's the handlebar on my 2025 Tarmac SL8, which is decidedly not round. Look at the top of that thing. Looks like an airplane wing or something, doesn't it? And well, that's the idea, isn't it? Aero, it's light, it's really comfortable to use. It's also darn inconvenient compared to a round bar if you want to put something like this on it. And that's the situation I found myself in after getting my Tarmac, because I always ride with a front-facing daytime running light, basically a blinky. I have used a blinky forever. I use it on my road bikes. I used a blinking tail light. Now I use a radar light, but it serves the same purpose for the rear. But I use a blinky for the front. I really don't want to go out in traffic without one. The problem was none of the lights I had would work on the Tarmac. So I needed a solution. I found one, and that's what this short video is going to be about. Telling you the solution I found, the light I used, a little bit about the light I used, and then I'm going to take this solution, right? I'm going to expand on it. I got two other lights. I got 2 other lights. They're going to be a step up from your basic blinky. One is could be a blinky or maybe a go see by light, and the other one's going to be a very bright, definitely you can see with light. I'm going to be doing those in the next couple Tech Tuesdays. But first I want to talk about the solution, because it's twofold, this solution. It could be that you got a handlebar like I have, and you need to figure out what you used to use you can't anymore. So there is that. But there's a second reason that you might want to have a solution to clamping something other than onto your handlebar. I can't clamp around that. I can clamp around this, but here's the dilemma. I've only got this much room from this finger to this finger of clamping surface area. The stem takes up the middle of it, so really I've only got that and that to clamp to, because my hands go here. This is tapered, can't clamp to that. Well, what that means sometimes is, even though I can attach to it easily, sometimes you get a computer mount or a light, you got maybe a little bar bag there. Pretty soon what happens is you're running out of room. You're running out of real estate on your bar. So if you can take like a light or something like that, and you can take it off your handlebars and put it somewhere else where it still works well, clears up some space. That's not a bad thing. So it's a bit of a twofold solution here. But for me, I was trying to figure out, how do I make the Tarmac work? And I did. And that's what this video is all about. And I'm going to show you the new blinkies that I'm putting in use on my solution. Stand by. Now, about the same time I was looking for a solution, I ended up with a couple new blinky lights. Trek sent out to me their latest version of their Ion series of blinky lights. You got the front light and a rear light. They are improved versions of what I have been using for years, which would be something more like this right here. Now, the differences may not be immediately apparent, but I'll go through some of the differences real quick. But I have used one version or another of these little Trek blinkies, front, rear, or front, for years, Mrs. Granny Gear and I swear by them, I recommend them. I have yet to find a better combination of lightweight, size, versatility, brightness, and battery life in these things. They have just been so good. The Ion series. I usually use the 200 front with the Flare RT. Well, lately, I'm using radar on the back of my bike, and so that I'm on the road. So I really just need a front blinky light, but I still need a front blinky light. Focusing on the front right now, I have a matching rear. This is the new Ion 100 RT, and it is basically very similar to the ones I'm using, but they've added a few things. For one thing, it's got a little bit different shape. It looks a little bit more industrial. They didn't have a fuel gauge on the other ones. In other words, you didn't really know how much battery life you had without running around the front looking for a little tiny red light. By then, your battery's low. But you can see we've got some LEDs on it now. It has a daytime flashing mode, which you see right now. It's pretty bright. It's 100 lumens. I like the 200 lumen version, which right now I don't think the new ones come into 200, maybe later, but it's still pretty darn bright. And then you have a little bit more, less obnoxious flash for maybe different situations, and then you have a 100 lumen solid. The other improvement to this that I'm really a fan of is they went to a USB-C charging port instead of a micro USB, which is more inherently fragile. I've had these lights over a long time where you're charging them, that like a pin breaks off in the chart, and then, you know, the light is no good anymore. But the USB-C should be more robust. And on my charger, I'm getting more USB-C cords, so it's one less of the old cords that I need to have on my charging bank. That's good. This looks like an improved product, but I still had to get it to fit to the tarmac, okay? And that was the solution I needed. And was a combination of specialized parts and some Trek blender parts, we'll talk about in a second, that made that work really well and might work for you too. If you've got an Aero handlebar, pretty much everybody, I would think, I don't know for sure, is going to supply you with a custom-made out front computer mount that fits with your Aero handlebar. Specialized supplies that. I'm sure the others do. They're not all the same. I mean, they are not universally retrofittable. Fortunately, hey, mean there's not a standard for the mount? No, this is the bicycle industry. Everybody does their own thing. Specialized provides a nice little mount. Included with that mount is a whole bunch of little widgety parts that allow me to do, you know, Garmin, Wahoo, and different things. But included in the packet is an underneath GoPro mount. So I can, on my out front computer mount, hang a little GoPro mount on the bottom. You see that here in the video. Well, GoPro is a pretty universal standard. That allowed me to take a combination of Trek parts from their blender system and mount that on my computer mount. For 10 or 11 bucks, I went to the Trek store in town. You can get it online. I'll show you a picture and a link or whatever. And you get this little blender mount. Now blender is Trek's kind of versatile mounting system for all kinds of accessories on your bike. It allows you maybe to mount directly to their saddle without a clamp, like a tail light and things. It's kind of a neat system, all kinds of stuff. Blender, BLNDR, I think. For 10 or 11 bucks, I got the little GoPro interface that matches this little light. So basically, I can take this little rubber strap with a little bit of a little pressure, boop, boop, pop the little thing off of the lever. Now, the strap is separated from the little cube of light. This thing weighs as much it's like a handful of feathers, hardly weighs anything. Now with their little blender mount, as you see here in the video, I can interface that with my under the computer mount. Bob's your uncle. I have a nice, clean, simple, out-of-the-way blinky mount that's actually better, as far as I'm concerned, than putting it on the handlebar. It's adjustable for tilt, this little mount, so you can tilt the light because these are very directional. LEDs are pretty directional, this lens. You want this pointing straight down the road. So if your computer mounts at an angle, this has some limited adjustment in the blender mount to where you can adjust that. So that's pretty cool. Now, while I needed this to solve my problem with the Aero handlebar not allowing me to strap anything around it, it also frees up a light, okay? And more than the Trek light's gonna fit underneath here, there's a lot of lights that'll fit a GoPro mount. They may hang upside down, but you can still use them. So you could take potentially your light off of your handlebar and put it onto a computer mount. Now, if you don't have a fancy mount like I've got now, there are things like this. This is just a, this is Magic Shine. It's part of a package of stuff Magic Shine sent out because I got 2 more lights to do. You can see it's got a GoPro mount built right into the bottom of it. Computer mount on top, GoPro mount on the bottom. So if this is what you're using on your bike with just a round handlebar, there's still the potential to be able to take the light you have or some other light if you want a brighter one and be able to hang it under your computer mount. You got to be worried a little bit about weight. Okay, make sure the mount is up to the task or you could snap your mount off. But other than that, it's an elegant solution and it worked really, really well thanks to what Specialized did for me and the Trek blender system. I'm really a fan of these Blinkies. I would love to see this 100 RT version in a 200. I think that's probably coming with all the upgrades and improvements. They also have the tail light. This is the tail light version. And if you're not using a radar mount and you want a tail light, you know, this thing is pretty darn bright. And the battery life on these, I easily get on the old ones, like this old 200, I'll easily get 10 hours, 12 hours out of it. And they say on these versions here that you're talking on daytime flash, about 10 or 11 hours for the front and the rear. I find that to be very, very good. Well, that's an elegant solution to kind of a thorny problem. 2 more videos coming up with 2 more lights that use this kind of mount. One doesn't need a GoPro mount at all. Still mounts to your computer, a little bit brighter light. We'll see how that works out. And the second one uses GoPro, but it's a very bright light because, well, maybe I want to take my tarmac out and do a night ride. Well, with that one, I think I'll be able to. All right, that's it. Just a little quick Tech Tuesday video. Look for 2 more coming up. I'll spend more time on the lights on these 2 and less on the mount. Now I've kind of read you in, but I wanted to kind of set the stage for why I thought this was good for me and maybe good for you with either scenario. Either you got a crowded bar or you got a difficult bar to fit things to. All right, that's it. You guys have a great week and or weekend. And as always, go ride your bikes.